and welcome to Profile. My name is Milstina Kristeva, and today are joining me Deb Willsea, the founder and director of Cape Cod Toy Library, and Marcia Galazzi, development psychologist and advisor of Cape Cod Toy Library. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, of course. So tell us more about Cape Cod Toy Library and why are you interested to actually have this established on the Cape?
So Cape Cod Toy Library will be a family play learning center for the whole community. And it will have a play learning environment as well as a toy lending or play materials lending component to it, as well as resources for parents around child development and parenting.
That is awesome. And let's talk a little bit more about the needs of the Cape, of the local community. Marcia, maybe you could tell us a little bit more of what you're seeing in terms of child development and play.
Delighted to talk about the needs of our families on Cape Cod. We are growing our children in an older environment, and many houses are empty in our neighborhoods. Kids can't go out to play. And parents are increasingly offering screening time, or so mom can catch a shower or do the things that need to be done. But what's happening is we are really depriving our children in their communication skills and in their creativity by not giving them rich play environments. And we are so pleased to look at the example of Rochester, New York, which has done this for 25 years successfully and still flourishing, and we hope to create the same resource on Cape Cod.
So that would be great to support the families, and what materials in what curriculum are you planning on using, and how are you seeing this happening?
So in Rochester, which is where I come from and where I have the experience of co-founding and developing a very successful toy library in Rochester, New York, which has these same components to it. And one of the most important components is that it has early childhood staff that supports the children and families when they come, as well as educators and other people that are working with children in the community. So the kinds of toys, in that particular case, there are now 5,000 developmentally appropriate toys, which has grown over the years, and we know that the same thing will happen here. And so there's a wide variety of very high quality learning materials, play materials for children and families in the environment to use there, as well as to take out into the community, whether it be into a home or a child care center or a classroom.
That's great.
We had the benefit this morning of actually participating in setting up a wonderful playroom at the Baby Center in Hyannis. And one of the things that I was watching was the generational input. So many of us who were volunteers are people, I would say, over the 70 age group, delighted to be there and have a reason to be called by the children to play. So this benefits the whole lifespan.
So basically, excuse me for interrupting, Cape Cod Toy Library is not only for children, but it's intergenerational.
Yes.
Everybody's welcomed.
It's totally, and it's not a drop-off center. It is for the family engagement and to be together with your children, to have that family play time. So one of my favorite authors and books is The Importance of Being Little, which is by Erica Christoskis, and she talks about the need. It's very chock full of lots and lots of research around the importance of play, but she talks about the need for play habitats today and play protection zones, because we don't have it in our society the same way we did when we were young children.
Yeah.
And so the toy library environment supports that. And today, when we essentially took toys out into the community and set up in the fellowship hall at a baby center, we had a full room full of an environment of play materials, everything from physical active materials to creative to pretend, sensory perceptual as well. And it was a very successful event, and that's the kind of thing we will do on a permanent basis as well as out in the community.
So what particular styles of learning and activities are you expecting to use to influence the kids? Is there going to be creativity that you want to influence, or help kids at school, or just help them to relax?
Well, all of the above, because play helps all aspects of child development. It is the fundamental way that children learn. And so that's why we are trying to have something that will help support children and families in their natural way of learning. So as Stuart Brown will also, as a MD, also speaks to, is that play is just as important as sleep or nutrition, and that it's the single most important aspect for our children's success, both in school as well as in life, and for our general happiness and well-being. So it's really fundamental, and we're at a crisis in society today about the way that play is being essentially not recognized as fully as it needs to be or supported as it needs to be for children's well-being for their future.
And Marcia, could you speak a little bit more about the families and how they would benefit as a unit?
Yes. When I was observing this morning, I was just delighted to see the kinds of toys that the children chose, which were set up in a very organized way on big rug mats or small play spaces, so the children at any age could move freely and make their choices. And once they'd made a choice, they sometimes were joined by adults, by other children, but the kinds of toys that they reached for were nicely organized and nicely presented. And that's a really critical piece of what's different about a toy library from the family's playroom. Because frequently as a family, we can't take the time to keep all the puzzle pieces here and all the balls over there and all the books over there. But critical to the resource library is that those are available in an organized fashion so the child's thinking can be met right away.
And how do you think the social-emotional well-being of the kids will be affected by them interacting with others?
Go ahead.
Thanks. I was so interested to watch that, how much peacekeeping would we need to do? How much would children struggle over the same ball and so on? I was so pleased to see that partly because there was enough toys, enough space, enough gentleness in the environment, that there was not a single struggle except for one, and that's when a 3-year-old boy who had been so engaged for a good 2 hours was informed by his mother that it was time to leave.
Oh no.
And so I could play the helpful stranger and just go and extend a finger, and he took my hand and walked out with me, but truly he was distressed. I think he felt like he was losing a very precious opportunity.
There was a young little girl, maybe 2, 3, who just got so excited when she came to the door. And that is what really happens when children come to the door, literally, of a toy library or a toy place like we had so set up today, because they know it's for them. They know that everything in that room is an invitation for their exploration, their discovery, their learning. And that's really what it's about. But it's also about empowering the parents, who also maybe don't have access to the same things. There was a father there today that spoke about how much it meant to him, and he could see his child being attracted to things that he'd never seen himself, and the child, of course, hadn't seen before either. And what that meant to both of them. So it's social emotional value added, both for the child as well as for the parent.
And we had the benefit of a musician who was very happily playing the banjo and teaching music to children just by singing and participating. It was absolutely lovely.
So they can also children can take part in cultural activities as well?
Absolutely. So part of our mission is to be culturally sensitive in everything that we do. And so that means that a variety of whatever way we can incorporate, both by children's books that are culturally appropriate, as well as cultural musical instruments, dolls, other things that would represent different cultures, is really an important factor.
That is great. And what is your recipe for play? What do you encourage in the parents and the children?
I would say the easiest way of answering that is that the recipe is really allowing the children to guide the parents in many respects. Yes, as adults we can help to support it and build on it with them, engage in the play with them, but it is really letting the children guide us in many respects. Their interest, their excitement, their joy, and really observing that and seeing where that might lead. How can we then add to that? How can we build on that in one way or another?
We don't often take time to realize how few choices children actually have. It's time to go to the grocery store, it's time to answer the phone, it's time to put the wash in the dryer, it's time, and they are constantly operating on our time schedule. But time is preserved in this way so that the child can walk up, become curious, examine, interact with, and then back away from. It's just charming to watch them develop their own choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of the recipe for play is also for the adult as well as the children to not have the screen in their environment. So if the television is off, if the cell phones are off or put aside, that helps to preserve that time for play. Also, children actually, it takes a while to engage, so ideally they need about 45 minutes or more. So when a child is not ready to leave, a lot of times it's because they haven't had enough time to really engage in their play to begin with. So we need to give, again, those spaces and time for children.
So the Cape Cod Toy Library, the idea is to be open and accessible at all times?
Exactly. So, there will be funding necessary to be open at all times, but yes, it will be a balance of evenings, weekends, daytime, so that we can support children and families at various times of the day and night and weekends.
And if someone wants to get involved and help out as volunteer, is that a possibility?
Absolutely. So we have a volunteer form on our website, on the Take Action form, on the Take Action page. And so it's very easy to let us know if they're interested in volunteering, and we have had many people and we look forward to more. That's what will make this really come to being.
That's great. So in order for Cape Cod Toy Library to come to being and support our local community, what is needed? What do you guys need?
So I wish funding wasn't the need, but it is the need, as it always is. But yes, we do need significant funding, both to either purchase a building or for someone else to purchase a building for us to be in. We have one that we particularly are fond of, with a vision for how to build that facility out for all of the aspects of this programming that we would like to be able to do to support children and families. And then, of course, there's the startup funding to support having us hire staff and be able to be up and running. We'd love to be up and running within this year if we could, but it may turn into next year if funding weren't right away.
And I see you have brought with you some supplies that they're showing some of what the library could be like. And it's great to see so many colors and just opportunities for kids to play and relax and get social interaction. And for those who want to get involved, how could they do that? Where could they find you?
So again, it's probably easiest with the website, capecodtoylibrary.org. My phone number is 585-330-4656. And on the website there is an email address as well. So that's the easiest. And of course, if we would be happy to meet with anyone, we'd be happy to help them to understand more of what we're trying to do and have a conversation about their interest and what they would like to help with.
That is great. And is there something that you'd like to add, ladies? Something that you'd like to encourage our viewers with?
Well, we have narrowed down our choice of adult play to it's what the experts do, and we buy tickets to go and watch them playing at sports. And this requires an opening of the mind to recognize the restorative value of play when we permit ourselves to do it. And so this morning I've come from a couple of hours of truly playing, of stringing beads and using the materials in order to set a precedent for the kids or to invite them in. And it is absolutely a refreshing thing, and I'm sure will reduce stress all over the place to be able to bring adults into this play environment. So
that is great. We can encourage our viewers to just come and participate and bring their children and have some off-screen time and engage into real play. and
And
then-
real relationships.
And real
And
relationships.
It is all about
Yeah.
relationships. Absolutely.
And learning how to form relationships.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very much.
Thank you to you, and stay tuned for what's more to come on Channel 99.
Thank you.